3 years ago, I was holding cash from a side hustle and had no clear idea what to do with it. It was not a large amount. It was the kind of money that feels substantial when you earn it and somehow disappears within a few weeks if you do not give it a specific destination immediately. I had been doing occasional freelance work on weekends, the kind of work most people do not post about, the kind that feels temporary even when it has been going on for over a year. And I had accumulated a few $1,000s that was sitting in my checking account earning nothing while I decided what it was for. The decision I made at that moment, to treat that side hustle cash not as a spending bonus but as the starting capital for a dividend portfolio, is the decision that produced the timeline I am going to walk you through today.
3 years. Real numbers.
The actual month-by-month experience of watching side hustle income transform into passive dividend income, including the months that felt slow, the months that surprised me, and the specific milestones that made the journey feel real. Year 1 began with approximately $3,000 in starting capital from accumulated side hustle earnings, plus a commitment to invest the entirety of my ongoing side hustle income, roughly $400 to $600 per month depending on the work available. I opened a brokerage account and split the initial deposit between a dividend-focused ETF and a broad market index fund. The first month's dividend payment arrived about 3 weeks after my initial deposit. It was $9.40.
I took a screenshot.
Not because it was impressive, it absolutely was not, but because it was the first dollar my money had ever earned without my labor. $9.40 of completely passive income. The beginning of a very long journey. By month 6 of year 1, my portfolio had grown to approximately $8,000 between the initial capital and ongoing contributions. Monthly dividends had climbed to approximately $23. Still not life-changing. But the direction was clear and the trajectory was beginning to take shape. I was adding side hustle income consistently, reinvesting every dividend automatically, and not touching the portfolio for any other purpose. The end of year 1 saw my portfolio at roughly $14,000. Annual dividend income for the year totaled approximately $280. $23 a month on average. That is a streaming service subscription paid by passive income. A small number by most measures. But a streaming service subscription that now pays itself every month without requiring a single hour of my labor is not nothing. It is proof of concept. It is the system demonstrating that it functions. Year 2 is where the character of the journey changed. Not dramatically, this is not a story with dramatic moments, but noticeably. The monthly dividend payments crossed $50 for the first time in month 17. By month 24, they were approaching $80 per month. The portfolio balance had climbed to approximately $28,000 between contributions and market appreciation. The side hustle income was still the fuel, but the engine was generating enough momentum now that I could feel it pulling in a direction I had not been able to feel in year 1. The psychological experience of year 2 is worth describing, because it is different from year 1 in a way that matters. In year 1, the motivation came entirely from belief in the math, belief in the mechanism, belief that the invisible compounding was real even when it felt like nothing was happening. In year 2, the motivation started coming from evidence. The dividends were large enough to be tangible. The portfolio balance was large enough to feel substantial. I had crossed from the phase where you trust the system to the phase where the system has begun to prove itself. Year 3 brought the milestone I had been calculating toward since the beginning. In month 31, my monthly dividend income crossed $100 for the first time. $107 to be precise, deposited directly into my brokerage account without any action required on my part. I had started this journey with a goal of replacing my side hustle income with dividend income, turning active hustle into passive checks, and month 31 was the first month I could see the mechanism of that replacement clearly operating. By the end of year 3, my portfolio sat at approximately $42,000. Monthly dividends averaged $115. Annual passive income from dividends alone exceeded $1,300. Not financial freedom. Not retirement. But $1,300 per year that arrives without any labor, growing with every reinvested payment, compounding toward the next milestone with or without my active involvement. Here is the timeline distilled into its simplest form for someone who wants to follow it. In the first 3 months, build your starting capital. If you are doing any side hustle work, do not spend the proceeds. Accumulate $3,000 to $5,000 as your launch pad. In months 4 through 12, invest your side hustle income automatically every month.
Every dollar. No exceptions.
Track dividends, not for motivation, but for documentation. You are building a record of a system working. In year 2, resist the urge to increase your lifestyle as your side hustle income grows. Every raise in hustle income is additional fuel, not additional spending. In year 3, You will begin to feel the crossover approaching, the moment when dividend income and hustle income are moving toward each other from opposite directions. The crossover, the month when your dividend income equals your average monthly side hustle earnings, is the point this entire timeline is aimed at. I have not crossed it yet. I am building toward it. But I am close enough now to see it clearly and to know that the 3 years of disciplined side hustle investing made the crossing not a matter of if but of when. Your one action today is to calculate what your current side hustle income, or any irregular surplus income you earn, would become in 3 years if invested consistently at a 9% average annual return. 3 years is not a long time. The number you calculate will surprise you. And that surprise is the beginning of a decision that changes your financial trajectory.